Right now we're going to bring on Tom Williams, the Hall of Fame broadcaster, talk about some high school football. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. Now, be careful. Josh is going to have you doing jumping jacks.
Yeah, he's all into the fitness. I might need a few to get through today. I got Holy Spirit at St. Joe Hamilton football that I'm going to be trucking off from there to Bordentown to check out Ocean City Field Hockey in the state championship. So, long day for Sully.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get to Bordentown, too, from Manasquan. So, between the two of us, we're covering the state, I think.
Putting some miles on the old Chevy Lumina today. Tom, give us your impressions of last night's football. Let's jump right into it.
Well, I was at La Rosa Turf Field in Richland, where St. Augustine played one of the top teams in the country, one of the top 50 teams in the country, according to USA Today, even though they were the 8th seed in non-public 4. And this was a very good football team, but this was a little different than the losses to Don Bosco in the last 3 or 4 years. Even though it ended up being a 28-0 victory for St. Joe's of Montvale, St. Augustine competed, and they just had they were able to take advantage, St. Joe Montvale, of 2 blocked punts. They came right up the middle. One of them they actually recovered for a touchdown, and the other one set up a touchdown. Had they been able to eliminate those 2, this would have been a really good football game, because the last touchdown, I think St. Augustine was demoralized by that point. It was late in the game, and they were able to score about a 25 or 30-yard touchdown. But it was a competitive game, and I think St. Augustine proved last night that they've made a step. But this is an extremely competitive field, and they're going to have to make some more steps. They got a lot of people back next year. They're going to have to replace a very good quarterback, but and I'm sure some other key people too, Jim Brady for one. But this is a team, a program that's making progress. So as far as the game that I actually saw, that's the reaction there. The other two winners in Buna and Bridgeton, and convincing winners too. But the other 2 games were very competitive. Mainland and Timber Creek. Timber Creek and Cherokee are considered 2 of the top teams in South Jersey, and Millville just about had Cherokee beaten on its own field. And just at the end, a mistake and an opportunity, and Cherokee took advantage of it, as good teams do. They've won 2 consecutive Group 5 titles, and then Mainland losing 10-3 to a Timber Creek team. So I think the Cape Atlantic League, who didn't do that well Thursday in the what do they call them, regional crossover, losing 4 out of 5. I think the Cape Atlantic League did very, very well in playoff last night, and there's 3 teams today that, well, was going to be a Cape Atlantic team, of course, come out of the game that the people will hear here on 97.3 ESPN between Holy Spirit and St. Joe. But I think there's a good chance the other 2 teams can advance too, Cedar Creek and Oakcrest.
We're talking with Tom Williams of Prime Events. Tom, former Cape Atlantic League team who really rolled to a first-round win was Hamilton with a big victory on Friday night. Talk about that squad and the season they've been having under first-year coach Jim Razzo. Yeah,
Hamilton has done well, and pulling out that win the way they did last week against Timber Creek was very indicative of the type of team they had this year. I mean, they went up in that game. I think it was 17-0, and then Timber Creek came back because they're a good, solid football team too, and tied it up. And then it went into overtime and an incredible interception that ended the game for Hamilton. I think that's indicative of the type of team they have. I think they're going to be really tough. I love to see Bridgeton and Hamilton end up playing in that championship game, because Bridgeton is a team that could very easily be 10-0, and they lost to a team that I think only had 1 loss in North Jersey. They lost a close game to Buna, and a couple of mistakes they made. They lost to Holy Spirit, which is the game I'm sure most of all they'd like to have back. But this is a good Bridgeton team and a young Bridgeton team. I love to see them play Hamilton, and they're going to play Shawnee next week. But if they get by that, I'd like to see them play Hamilton. That'd be a great. And of course, that would be a rivalry that I wouldn't call it a rivalry, but they certainly have played many times throughout the years, and it'd be good to see them play again.
Tom, I wanted to ask you real quick about Cedar Creek. We had Jesse Mills on earlier in the show, and talk a little bit about Cedar Creek and how deep they are and how talented they are. They're actually back in the playoffs. Last year they missed, even though they only had 2 losses on the season.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there, and of course, all the talk at the beginning of the season was about Amir Mitchell, and he's been a force. He doesn't have the numbers because, and this is the same thing with Christian Baumgartner at Ocean City. They're double teamed all the time, and I think that opens things up for other people too. But they've got so much other talent as well, and Bo Melton, who's already being recruited, is a very versatile football player. And you mentioned Jesse Milza, who leads the Cape Atlantic League in passing yardage and in touchdown passes, and he's still got another year to go. He's had a tremendous year. They gave him the ball as a freshman, stuck with him, let him get his experience, and it's all paying off now. It's a very good football team and a very well-coached football team, and I think Cedar Creek's got a good chance to go somewhere. It'd be kind of interesting if Cedar Creek got to play Buna again in the South Jersey Group 2 championship game, and I think that's a definite possibility. They're going to play 2 pretty good teams, assuming Cedar Creek wins today, in West Deptford and Haddonfield. But there's a good chance it'll be an all-Cape Atlantic League final in Group 2.
Tom, real quick, about a minute left. Who's the team you're keeping your eye on to maybe make a run into that state final from the Cape Atlantic League? Would it be Bridgeton?
Well, yeah, I think Bridgeton has a chance to get into the South Jersey championship. I think St. Joe's certainly is still a team. They're going to have to play, if they win today, they're going to have to play Immaculata, and Immaculata's had some really good teams in the past, and I think they do again. So that's a bit of a challenge, but they could advance, and also the Buna Cedar Creek situation. So I think there's a number of opportunities for Cape Atlantic League teams to get into championship games.
Good stuff. Thanks for taking a few minutes, Tom. Always appreciate your insight, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
I'll wave to you on the Parkway.
All right, man.